So how does people who read a book that says study to show yourself approved allow a pastor not only to give them fellatio to suck out their demons, toss their salad to make sure that there aren't any more demons in there, but also tell them that this is a ritual from the Native American tribes, which is not true. I've never heard or seen of that ritual in a Native American tribe, so I'm not going to even take a moment to disrespect a Native American tribe with that. But how do people who say study to show yourself approved? And this isn't just not against those people. This is against the mindset of people. How does, if you study any book and all say study in some form or fashion, study to show yourself approved, come to enlightenment, fall for, let me give you fellatio to get rid of the demons, let me toss your salad to get rid of your demons, and it comes from something outside of your book? I'm going to tell you why. It is because people are afraid of the devil, and they truly don't believe in what they call God. And before we get started, let's give a moment to our sponsors. I'd like to take a moment to thank all our sponsors. For everyone on Patreon who supports this channel through your monthly donations, you are greatly appreciated. And I look forward to providing you free content as well as exclusive live video chats. You will also be able to receive discounts on products from Uncle Ren's Popcorn as well as coaching from Coach Ren's. This video is also sponsored by Uncle Ren's Popcorn, where you can get 25 flavors of delicious gourmet popcorn, from salt and vinegar to strawberry cheesecake, from caramel and cheddar to bacon jalapeno, and many others like cookies and cream. I greatly appreciate everyone who supports us at Uncle Ren's Popcorn. This channel is also supported by Coach Ren's, where you can not only get all your life coaching, your relationship coaching, but also get your business coaching from Coach Ren's, as we teach you how to move your hobbies into a business, not a job for yourself, but a business. We also teach you life principles of leadership and meditation. So go to CoachRenz.com and support the sponsors of this channel. Thank you guys very much, and I appreciate you for supporting this channel. If you're finding me for the first time, hit that subscribe button. Most of our videos are talking on this channel. We talk about spirituality. We also talk about enlightenment of the mind. We talk about health. We talk about your finances, which is a great barometer as far as you moving forward in life. And if we can control our body, control our finances, control other aspects of our lives, then we can enlighten ourselves to the point where we truly become the level of our divinity that we say that we are. So let's take a little stroll here. There was a story some time ago. I don't know when the story was actually. It was just sent to me recently, where there's a pastor in New Jersey. I think it happened maybe 3-4 months ago. Some pastor in New Jersey. I'm not going to call out the name because I'm not trying to give attention to it. Was indicted or accused of sexually harassing men who were previously sexually harassed or sexually had sexual molestation going on. Now, first and foremost, I want to say this. To a group of men, or any man that will admit that he's been sexually molested, that in itself is a courage, because we know our society is completely biased in that men who are sexually molested tend to be shamed more so than a woman who has been, because there must be something wrong with your manhood or something wrong with you if you were molested. So men don't generally come forward. So I want to say bravo to those men who came forward and trusted in who's supposed to have been their spiritual leader to confess this to and tell them of the emotional damage and strain that they've been going through because of it. And yet they were betrayed. I mean, even though they was betrayed by the man, they betrayed themselves first. Lack of an understanding betrayed themselves first. The first betrayal, and this may seem harsh, and people may say, why are you shaming the victims or talking bad about the victims. I'm doing so because you follow a religion that says to study to show yourself approved, yet you fell for a man who said that I'm taking something from a Native American culture. If you believe in a book, whether it's Muslim, Buddhist, whatever, Hindu, whatever it is, if you believe in the teachings of your book, that should have been your first red flag. The fact that they're giving you something outside of your book, if that's what your belief is, that's the first problem. That's the first problem. The second problem is that your book is telling you that what he's doing is wrong. So it goes against your book. Because if you leave the nature of a woman for that of a man, then that is an abomination. So your book is telling you that that's wrong. That's strike number 2 right there. The third one is more deep, and this is where I want us to discuss for a few minutes. The third one is more deep. I said earlier, in most religions that has a God and a devil, people are taught to fear the devil, but love and trust God. But people do fear the devil, but they do not trust God. They do not trust whom they call God. Because if you trusted who you call God, then you would be living a certain type of life that the devil can't touch you in. Your books tell you that you are gods. You are goddesses. You have the ability, the mind of Christ, the Buddha head. You have that divinity within you, a Godhead, as in the Hindu. But yet, you do not trust it. And the reason you do not trust it because you allow fear to rule. You see in the Hermetics, the teachings of Kemet, there is a thing called law polarity. Everything exists on a pole. If you say that God is love, then on the opposite side there will be hate. But I'm not going to say hate. I think hate would be the wrong of the polar opposite of God is love. If God is love, then the devil is fear. I'm going to say that one more time. If God is love, the devil is fear. And let me prove that to you. In order to have hate, it comes from ignorance. And in order for ignorance to become hate, it's fueled by fear. You see, hate for black people in America was fueled by the fear of the black man taking your white woman, or the black man being someone who will dominate you. The same thing is going on right now. The fear, the hatred that many have for police officers is fueled by the fear that every cop is going to shoot a black man, so every cop is therefore evil, so I hate every cop. Not intelligent thought, not thinking. The majority of police officers will never harm you. As a black man, you're more likely, 64% of black men who are murdered in America are murdered by another black man who is not a cop. The facts are the facts. An accurately thinking person looks at the facts. So when we look at the scale, we have to say that if God is love, then the devil is fear. Because fear propagates all other things. And yes, you are taught to fear the devil. And you will fear the devil. People will say the devil made me do it. The devil is busy. The devil is at work. They will see something going on and call it the devilment. The devil is doing all these things and creating all these things on the earth. They'll say that the end time is here because look at the devil is busy. Look at everything that's going on. Rumors of wars, and look at how this generation is worse than the other generation. Even though every generation says that, except I must say that the generation that was freed from slavery could not have said that about the next generation. The generation that was freed from Jim Crow laws in the South could not have said that about the next generation. We may have had breakdowns in the family and that sort of thing, but I, as a black man walking around today, cannot say that today is worse than 1805 in America as a black man. If I was in Atlanta, Georgia in 1805 was far worse than 2019. Hell, in Atlanta, I would have to say that 1930 was worse, where black men could be lynched and the opportunities were far and few in between. So I'm going to say that things have not gotten worse for black people. This is not the worst of times. But you're taught to fear all the time. So you're taught to remain in fear of the devil, but you are taught, and it is said, that you should trust God, trust love. But the problem is, the reason why we have so much turmoil and the reason why these men gave in to whatever is said, because people do not trust God, and they do not trust the God in them. It is about trusting the God in you, not the outside God, not the outside energetic forces, because the outside energetic forces will conform to you once you have decided that the inside God is in charge. You see, this is why your books say, when two come together in like mind, whatever is said, done will be done. The outside will do what the inside say when the two minds come together. When a couple masterminds in this way, they accomplish. Behind every great man is a great woman, or this is a power couple. They get things done. It happens because the two minds are in likeness and they have no doubt. Even individually, when you have definiteness of purpose towards a goal, towards something you want in your life, the outside universe conforms to what it is. The universe has no choice but to say, if Lorenzo is saying that he is this, if Lorenzo is saying that his outcome is that, and there is absolutely no doubt whatsoever, then the universe will say, well, that must be what it is, because that's his universe. And we must conform everything. And we like to call this serendipity. We like to call this luck. We like to call this blessed. I had someone the other day tell me that with the opportunity that I'm taking right now, that I am blessed because I stepped on the floor running. That things started coming immediately as soon as I stepped on the floor. And they said, you are blessed. And I said, no, I'm not the blessed. I'm definitive of my mind, definitive of my purpose. When I walked in this morning, I had a definiteness of purpose of what it was going to be. Not what I hoped for, not what I wished for, not what I begged for, but what it will be. And there was absolutely nothing that could change my mind that it would be anything other than that. And it hasn't been anything other than that. Anytime someone on the outside comes to me and try to tell me that it's this way or it's that way that goes against what I say it is, I say to myself, no, and I walk away from those persons. These men did not trust in the Godhead inside them strong enough to ensure that they were in the right pathway. Instead, the outside circumstances of their doubt allowed for them to be taken advantage of. Why? Because they feared more than they loved. They feared the devil and everything outside them more than they loved the Godhead inside them and all around them. You see, when you change that mode and you realize that what is, let me put it in a different way. Many people suffer in poverty for lack of finances. And they will say, I want this and I want that and I want to be, it'll be nice to have this, it'd be nice to have that. And they will say all the right things on the outside. But inside they are saying to themselves that, you know, the man ain't gonna ever let me. Life ain't that way. Everybody can't be rich. They will say that how my credit ain't good enough. The bank ain't gonna give me the money. They gonna crush my business. The black community won't support this. The black community won't support that. And as long as you're saying that, then that will always be true. And even those who are mildly successful and say that, well, I am in fear of poverty. The fear of poverty has caused me to make sure I make these investments. And I've made these investments and I'm living pretty well. Well, you could be living pretty damn well. You could be living outstanding if you say that there is no fear of poverty, because for me, poverty doesn't exist. Now, that is not to say that you won't ever go through hardship. For me, poverty, financial poverty does not exist. But yet I've been homeless twice. But yet I've had businesses succeed. I've had businesses fail. I've sold businesses and I had some I had to close down. But there is never any fear of poverty because I have an expectation of success. I have an expectation of growth. I have an expectation that just around the corner, and I'm moving toward the corner. It's not always just around the corner. If it's always just around the corner, you're never going to get there. But what I do know is that every day, every moment, that I am moving in the direction as if it is already present in my life. And because I have an expectation of what is going to be, it always manifests itself. It always manifests itself. I shut down my popcorn shop from a bad location. And I have the expectation that I will reopen it in a great location now that I have learned all the different types of locations, the different little elements that can make success or failure for my industry. I realize what I need to do, and I have the expectation that when I reopen, it will be in a great location. Now, in order to facilitate that, I had to have definiteness of purpose, no doubt, and then also a plan to move me forward. So I looked for opportunity, and I said to myself, I'm going to find the right type of sales position that would allow me to grow. I'm going to get this real estate license so I can grow and be able to facilitate it at the level that I need, because I know how much money is required, and I will achieve it. But I will achieve it because I have the expectation that there is no other choice but for it to be. And that's where you have to go. These men do not have that in them. That's why they were taken advantage of by this pastor. Now, taken advantage of in other sexual molestation issues, I don't know what the situation was around that. It could have been forceful. I don't know. But when dealing with a spiritual leader, and you're supposed to study just as much as they do, you're supposed to know just as much as they do, you're supposed to have the spirit just as much as they do. But when you allow their spirit to overwhelm your spirit, that means you're not trusting the spirit that's inside you. You rather trust the one outside yourself. And as long as you trust outside spirit, outside energy, you will always be walking in doubt, and you will always be walking in fear. And as long as you're walking in fear, then you, unfortunately, are a child of the devil. You are a son and daughter of the devil. You will never have what it is that you truly desire. You'll always get just enough to keep you circling the bowl, falling for whatever comes, drifting your life. And I mean, you're going to say, well, I would never have fallen for that. And you're right. You may not have fallen for, let me give you fellatio to suck out the demons. But you fall for sow that uncommon seed so that God can bless you with extra money. You fall for the people crawling on the floor as if they were sheep. You fall for, look at what God is doing with my pastor, so I know I'm blessed because my pastor is receiving, but yet you're not. You're falling for, oh, I see that every other man or woman in my church is getting married, so I know that I'm next. Yeah, I know it's happening, so I'm blessed. Instead of presenting yourself in your mind with the expectation that you will get that job, you will open that company, you have already, your soulmate is already present in your life. You haven't gotten to that expectation. You haven't gotten to that point where you know it is. So you're still looking on the outside and you're falling for all the new little things. Oh, you spoke into my life. Oh, you spoke tongues into my life. Oh, I'm going to spin around 3 times and write on a piece of paper my words and throw them over my shoulder. You're falling for all these kind of things. I'm going to fall for this holy water. I'm going to fall for these holy prayer cloths. I'm going to keep, I need to pay my rent, but I'm going to give my rent away. I'm not going to be a good steward of my money. I'm going to be a poor steward of my money. You're presented with, this is how you become a good steward of your money. Here's Coach Ren's 70-10-10-10 plan. But instead of that, no, I'm just going to pray about it. No, you have to be a good steward over your money. Have a budget. Break your money up so that you have extra money to invest. You have money to pay your bills. You're not living above your means. But then also, here's how I do my capacity map with Coach Ren so that I can then increase my life and change my life and get myself into the mental state that allows me to have everything that I truly deserve and to have in my life, instead of spinning around 3 times and tossing things over your shoulder, coming up to an altar, laying down your woes and picking them back up and taking them with you, or coming to the altar and begging and begging and begging instead of demanding from the universe exactly what it is that you have definiteness, the purpose of, and you are expecting. So when I say that men and women, that humans will always, for the most part, fear the devil but not trust in what they call God, I mean this because the evidence is all around you. If you look at people, the evidence is all around you. Open your eyes to see it, and then you will know it. And when you do, you need to then change who you are. Change your mindset so that you can change your rhythm. When you change your rhythm, then your life changes. It's not an instant thing. It's not I can just do it. But you change your rhythm in certain areas and it'll change the rest of your life. and everything in your life will change, and no longer will somebody be able to dupe you into even in the slightest. Even in the slightest. You're getting duped right now in small things. You're not noticing it. But it's those things that's holding you back. They're keeping you in a position where you will never ever be able to fully access the true Godhead that you have inside you. So just wanted you guys to know that if you want me to work with you, go to CoachRenz.com. If you want to support this channel through popcorn, go to Uncle Renz Popcorn. Well, it's urpopcorn.com. I appreciate you guys. And for everybody who supports the channel on Patreon, I really appreciate you guys, because you're just saying, I love what you do. And I love you guys for it. So y'all have a great day. Remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable.